Ladies and gentlemen, would you rather? Here's a would you rather.
Would you rather?
Would you rather see Sigmund Freud or your favorite psychologist or post on Facebook? Huh? What do you think? This is a fair question.
This is a fair question.
Yeah, so the impetus for this whole conversation is, and welcome back to the show. Glad you're watching. I have no idea why you're watching, maybe him, but not me, and this whole crazy podcast that is slowly growing. And maybe that's why it's slowly growing. But
Tell your friends. Share with your family.
Yeah, subscribe, please. I need more friends.
Click the like button. Click the bell.
So Lent 2024.
2024.
Lent is over. For the Christians, we are in the Easter time.
50 days.
50 days of Easter. Easter means to look east, right? Yeah, it comes from the word east because Jesus comes from the east when he resurrects. Sorry, not when he resurrects. When he comes back, the Perusia, the second coming. So
if you're in Japan, look to the east.
Keep looking east, right?
Okay.
And if you're flat earthers, I don't know what you do with that. Anyway, are there directions? I get into the weeds quickly, don't I?
Everything's
I
made
get
up.
right into the weeds.
That's right.
So I gave up not all social media. I'm typically not on Twitter because X. Why do they call it X?
X marks the spot.
That's why.
I'm making it up.
I'm not on Twitter. I don't need Twitter. I'm not on it. I don't really love it. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on, what are some of the other ones?
I use LinkedIn. I like LinkedIn.
I didn't know that was, it's
Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat.
Yeah, I'm not on any of those.
Tumble,
I'm on
Rumble.
Telegram. And I love Telegram, and I could be on it for hours a day. Easy. I gave up Telegram, and this is what happened. My life became free. It did.
Free?
Free.
Your life wasn't free before?
No.
Why wasn't it free before?
What does it mean to be free?
I don't know. It's a great question.
Yeah.
So I'm pinning you back on it.
Here's what I felt, and I'll use the word feel. For you, what's that doctor that used to doctor on the radio? That Jewish woman doctor on the radio.
Dr. Laura
Schlesinger. Yeah, if this is for you, Dr. Laura. I feel, because she hated it when the women say, stop telling me about your feelings, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like this cross, if you will, was lifted from my shoulders. And I feel like I could walk freely in life.
Maybe it was your cross to bear.
I don't think so. It's the wrong cross. Cross wasn't the best. It was weight is a better word. But I feel like I could walk. It's like getting a new pair of shoes and you walk on air versus, wooden shoes that you've been wearing all your life.
Sure.
I just felt so much better and freer, and my propensity to believe it or not really increased or decreased. To believe it or not, it just decreased. Whether any of that was true.
Right.
And I just felt wonderful. But the problem is,
you want back on.
I want back on.
You know why?
I don't know why. Tell me why.
Everybody knows why. FOMO, baby. You got to have your FOMO.
Yeah.
Get your FOMO. The fear of missing out.
Yeah.
What are you afraid you're going to miss?
Nothing.
Yes, you are. That's the deep-seated root of why you want back in. Because you think you're going to miss something. What
That might be true, but I have gotten back on, and it's just like fluff. I just want to be there.
It's always been fluff.
Well, not before Lent. It was like exciting.
Only because you thought it was exciting.
Maybe. Again, it was always fluff. That's probably true, but it didn't seem like fluff.
No.
But it seemed important.
Yes.
I seemed like I was somebody. And I'm not a big poster.
Are you a contributor?
No, I don't really. I shouldn't say poster.
So you're a consumer.
I'm a consumer. I don't.
You're like
contribute.
a guy going to Walmart.
Yeah.
You're not the guy putting stuff in
It's
Walmart.
my WWE, man. If you ever watch All-Star Wrestling,
Entertainment.
It is. It's entertainment. It's how I escape.
Hey, that's what they make Facebook Shorts and Facebook Reels for, and YouTube Reels.
Those things are the devil. I mean, they really are.
They know how to lock you in.
Well, listen, this is embarrassing to admit, but I'll admit it. But I could easily be a YouTube short junkie.
What does that mean?
It means that every 3 seconds I'm flipping to the next thing looking for something better. I did it for an hour and a half one night.
Did you know you had done it for an hour and a half?
No. I was done it for, and then my arm started to hurt. I'm like, why is my arm hurting? And I looked at my my watch, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 12:30 a.m. What am I doing?
Imagine had you put that much time into doing push-ups, sit-ups, and planks.
Or just reading the Bible. Have you ever done that?
You've done what? Oh yeah, absolutely, 100% guilty.
So I'm not the only one.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you doing that? Flipping through the shorts or whatever it is?
Yeah, I mean, when I get really stressed and I can't sleep, that's an easy mind-numbing thing. Just a little bit of entertainment. It changes every few seconds. You bet. I can totally grind down to that. Clips of old favorite TV shows, waiting for that moment to go back to. Oh, I remember the first time I saw this. That was awesome. And it's just like, why do we want to replay these memories? Go make new ones.
Right.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
It's very, very. Our behavior is very, very interesting here.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Tell me who I am. He wanted his passion project to make an impact on people without money being his priority. Although he did not set out to build a business, this thing rose from a Harvard dorm room project to world domination with over 2 billion monthly users. When it came to influence, this has been able to give the pledge, which is a commitment to distribute the majority of his stuff to philanthropic endeavors. Who am I?
Facebook.
Zuckerberg. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
that was his vision.
I have some vulgarity to say right now, ladies and gentlemen,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to do it because it's not the right thing to do. But son of a gun. Okay, so I gave a talk on social media.
Okay.
This is to high school students 5 years ago.
Okay.
And as I
Pre-COVID.
as I dug into social media, I came across I think his name was Tristan Thompson, former Google engineer, and Simon Sinek, when we've talked about him. But it appears this is what's been happening. And I don't think I need to educate anybody because I think you might know. But if you don't, when you get on your phone and you're in a social media platform and you keep doing this and keep doing that, what are you doing? You're spending time in that app,
Mm-hmm.
but every click is what ads. Every time you go into a social media, maybe you didn't know this, but every time you go into a social media platform, when you click on things, they get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So then they
call clickbait.
yeah. So then they sit around at these tables, like for example, maybe it was Facebook. This is an example. They sit around a table and they ask the question, what can we do to users to keep them in our app?
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens biologically when I look at something for 30 to 40 seconds? I get a hit of
Dopamine.
yeah, dopamine.
Yep, dopamine hit.
So I am totally putting him on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when your body gets a hit of dopamine?
Dopamine is an upper. So it's similar to what people experience when they take a puff of a cigarette or to do a vape or you watch your kids stand up and walk for the first time. Seeing your kid hit a home run or catch a pop fly. It's a sudden feel good. Just a real quick sudden feel good.
So dopamine is the new drug, really.
It's always been the drug.
Huey Lewis.
It's
said
always been the drug.
Yeah, but Huey Lewis said I want a new drug back in the 1980s. He got it.
Well, no, we just found a new way to get it faster.
Well, dopamine is the same drug, but now this is, you don't have to take a pill.
That's right.
You don't have to take lines of cocaine and die.
Right.
Right? You can do this. It's a different kind of death. It's an interior. Go ahead.
But you also just like taking a drug through a needle or smoking a cigarette or doing a vape, your body develops a tolerance. Now it takes more to get the positive feeling. This is why you were able to sit there for an hour and a half. That tells me how much your tolerance had built up prior to that scrolling episode, that you had no problem doing it for 30 or 40 minutes before.
That could be.
Yeah. And I mean, conscious, unconscious. And that hit of satisfaction, if you do a little your own self-analysis and I dare you, take a stopwatch when you're going to get on social media, especially on your phone, start the stopwatch in the background, and then start doing your scrolling. And then when you're done, when you feel like you've had enough, not because you got a phone call or because you got to go do something else, but when you've had enough of your social media, flick it up and look at how much time you've actually spent, because it's like eating a meal. You don't quit eating until you're full.
Most people sick, but full.
Yeah, well, I mean, just full. I mean, little kids and stuff. I don't like eating this. So, the same thing is with the social media.
Yeah,
and there's a great movie out there called Social Dilemma that goes into how they calculate the algorithms and how they keep enticing someone to keep popping back up. Because if you go back to the old Facebook original, it was just a posting board. It was just a place to put some information up, like, oh, party at such and such's houses, or such and such's car went in the ditch. Now it's this ads and reels and feeds. And I mean, I advertise on Google and on Facebook for my business. And the whole programming that we're instructed, hey, this ad will perform better if you do this. This ad will perform better if you do this. This is how you get more reviews. And, oh, by the way, if you really want to get a lot of impact, you can pay us money and we'll make sure that more people see this. And that's what really stinks, is because it's no longer organic. It's very much AI driven.
So my initial question was, would you rather
Sigmund Freud.
Yeah, go to Sigmund Freud or Facebook? And part of what I'm about to say comes from familial experience.
Oh.
Why do people post? So I had an extended family member years ago post on Facebook. And I don't post. And I'm barely on Facebook. And I started to read what this person was saying, and this person got, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's too bad. Oh, no. Oh, that's terrible. And I thought, what in the world is going on here? I mean, really, what is going on here? And then I saw other people do the same things. And now people are posting about crazy things. Crazy things, and they're getting feedback. And my question is, what are you trying to achieve by posting on Facebook? And the second thing is, do you think you have real friends on Facebook?
No, but here's the thing.
What am I missing?
So now you and I have a microphone and a camera, and we have a YouTube channel. We now are experts in the little bit of world that we are experts in. Nobody can refute us. They can leave comments, but Facebook gives you a place, no matter how weird, how abnormal, how crazy your idea might be, it gives you legitimacy. It gives you, oh, I'm not the only one that thinks this way. And now, with there being 8 billion people on the planet, half of them having 2 billion, a quarter of them having access to Facebook, I guarantee there's more than 2 people in the world that think the way you do. Now, does that make it right? Does it make it normal? Does it make it cohesive and consistent with a good society and culture? That's the argument. But it gives you a place to now not be alone.
Yeah, and the danger is what is called moral culpability. If someone posts something, and let's just say it's evil, that doesn't necessarily mean spiritually evil. That means evil, it's really wrong. It's contrary to what is true. And you affirm that person, you affirm that article. Yes, I totally agree, you are right. What are you doing?
Giving them a spike of dopamine.
Given not only that, but you're saying you're right. And you have moral culpability by saying, all you have to say is, I agree.
Give them a like, thumbs up.
So some of you are in, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it, terrible sin when it comes to some of these issues, because you are aligning yourself, maybe even with Satan himself, by approving of evil, whether it's a spiritual evil or not, you're approving of it. And that's just clearly wrong. And you have no right to measure in on something you know nothing about.
In the absence of having a clear no or a clear defined line, everything else is an endorsement. Everything else is condoned tolerance.
That's true. That I never thought about that. That is so true.
So
Click on the little heart symbol.
Yep.
Click on the little thumbs up.
Right. You're just condoning it. And so many people, because of the way the internet works, there are so many people behind a computer screen far, far away that have no direct social interaction. True. You talk about, do you have real friends on Facebook? A real friend will come and give me a hug when I'm sad and when I hurt. They'll be there when I call. If I just share my life on Facebook, I get the feeling like people care, but I'm just the next thing.
Yeah.
And I'll be replaced in a minute. As soon as I stop sharing,
Yeah.
I no longer have relevancy.
Yeah, you have to keep the power going.
You have to keep feeding the machine.
Yeah, you have to keep. Yeah, that's so very interesting to me. And what's the end in mind here?
Well, I think it's very corruptive from where it started. I think the idea of what social media was originally as this digitalized social platform for being interconnected as people was light years ahead of anything. And now that it's become commercialized, it's like anything else. It's just there to create producers, like a grocery store. Mm-hmm. You got your Dole, you got your Del Monte, you've got your Heinz. Yep. They're putting a product on a shelf. And then there's all of us that go to the store and we consume. We just buy whatever there is to be sold. And our time has become commoditized as having value to these phones, to these apps, to whatever. And it's costing you your life. It's costing you the minutes that you will get to be on this planet.
Yeah, don't overlook what Dennis is saying. That is really true. And it reminds me of the garden when the serpent said to Eve, "You will not die." There's a truth in that. She didn't die physically, but she died spiritually. This is another spiritual death that we're all going through. Here's some stats on this. 63% of people on social media report being lonely. Well, how in the hell are you lonely when you have all these friends?
Because
right?
55% of human interaction, and this is why we do this for YouTube, is the social interaction. My facial expressions, the curve of my mouth, I smile, am I sad? Like, you can read so much through the lines of what I'm saying that you get a real perspective of what I'm feeling. Mm-hmm. 38% is this inflection and tone and the excitement and the sadness in my voice. One of my mentors, he's got this great line. He goes, "That's a nice shirt." 4 words. That's a nice shirt. That's a nice shirt.
Yeah.
Or, that's a nice shirt. 4 words, 3 ways of saying it, all different contexts. We need the spoken word to know that we're connected. We need to see and feel it. Words are just words. 7% of our communication is words. We, in this living behind a screen or living behind our phone, we miss 93% of communication.
That's really high.
And we're lonely. We're sad.
Let's just say that's not true. Let's say it's 50%.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, that's high, ladies and gentlemen. And what are we doing here? I don't think we're thinking about it. I don't think I'm thinking about it.
No, you correlate this now to the way people build houses. Now people build houses so their kids all have separate rooms, so everybody can go be kings in their own castle. You go back 100 years, how families lived in houses that are as big as some people's apartments and raised 8, 10, 12 kids.
Yeah.
And they went and fought wars together and died together and lived and triumphed together and felt community and felt connected. You know, you're never going to see a protest occur on Facebook. Social protest is still going to happen amongst a group of people walking down a street saying this is wrong or I don't agree with this. You can get 10,000 people to say it on Facebook. But it doesn't mean anything until you get people walking out on the street saying, this is right, this is wrong, I support this, I don't support that.
Yeah, as we were thinking here, looking at some of these stats, I just said 63% of people on social media report being lonely. And again, you have all these friends, but they're not friends. They're really not friends, people. 40% of people on social media report feeling anxious or depressed after using it. That's really, really high. Mm-hmm. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you buy your sons or daughters, or if you have one of these, the percentage,
a phone,
yeah,
for our radio listeners,
the chances are that you're giving someone a death sentence, an interior death. You're dying inside. There's a lot of stats here. 44% of people on social media report experiencing online harassment or abuse. Well, that's true in my own family. It is true.
Yep.
And some of you might be thinking, no, I'm not doing that. Yeah. The majority of us think you are.
Condoned. As a missionary, anytime a family member goes and supports something that isn't helping people walk closer with Christ is just a slap in your face of what it is you set out as a life's mission.
Yeah.
I fought all this through COVID because of my ideology and my belief
did.
that the body is self-healing, self-maintaining, self-regulating, that my body knows how to handle a disease or a pathology when it comes. All the attacks I got for having that stance when the world said something different about COVID. That's crazy.
Yeah. Looking back, who was right?
History is a best friend, I tell you.
Yeah. Usually, again, you could say this is too subjective, but usually when the world is going a certain way, that's not the way you should go.
You should turn around and run the other way.
You really should turn around and go the other way. And I think a lot of us bought these phones and give these to our kids because we think this is an improvement for our lives, but I don't think it is. I think it's going the wrong way. Now, my kids don't get phones. We have one phone for the kids. And I was able to set up on my phone what they can and can't do. They can't get on the internet.
Mm-hmm. We have a phone on the wall at home.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's it. You make a phone call? Call us. Here's our phone numbers. Here's 911. Somebody falls down, call mom, call dad.
Yeah, we should put ours on the wall. I thought about putting it on the wall with a speaker and plug it into the speaker. When it rings, we know it's ringing. Because I did have an internet phone, but nobody ever called it. Mm-hmm. So why have 4 phones when I can pay for 3? So I think there really is a dilemma here, ladies and gentlemen. The question I really wanted to ask, and I've already asked it, but it's worth saying again, what are you trying to achieve by posting? Ask yourself, before you post something, what is the end in mind? What am I trying to do here?
If you're going to get in the kitchen and go bake something, what's the purpose?
Yeah. And here's the other thing. Some of you with kids that are on Facebook or any social media platform.
Snapchat.
For more than an hour, what are you teaching your kids? That it's okay to not interact with them. Mm-hmm. That's what you're saying to them. My phone is more important than you right now. Now, I have a story about this, and I don't think my wife will care if I share it, but I'll edit it if she does.
Well, I'm going to, before you go into your story,
go ahead.
About on the news just this last week in Sioux Falls, the dance instructor at Washington High School has been relieved of duty. I think it was even last year's when the investigation started. Not an old man, not a young man, was pursuing a teenager and exchanging photos on Snapchat and got inappropriate. And now he's fired and lost his job. And for what? For a relationship that if you would have set them down in the same room and told them to interact, they wouldn't have. But because of this little device, this magical world, imaginary world became possible until it all came to reality.
Yeah. It's like intellectual pornography.
Oh, horrible.
That's really what it is. Mm-hmm. That's what's happening right now. We're all in porn, but it's just a different version of it.
That's right.
Yeah, and not every thought is meant to be expressed.
No. No, and some things you just shouldn't take.
But some of you are doing that. This is what's happening. Some of you are doing that. You have a thought about something, you express it, and you get feedback and more friends and more conversation. And where's this all going? Now, again, if it's the sort of thing where you're doing real good by putting stuff out like on Christ or something, but that might even be turned terribly sour. I just don't think this is a place for anybody to be posting anything except for maybe the initial use. This is who I am. This is how you contact me. But then there's no privacy.
No.
I mean, you're just
And now what they can do with generative AI for your kids' photos and pulling voice recognition off of your videos.
Yeah.
It's a little sketchy. So what was your story going to be?
Well, we were having an issue with one of our kids. Well, we've got 5 kids, so there's 5 issues. But and I'm another
I'm with
issue.
you.
I'm another issue because I'm not a dad. So, but my wife took this to prayer, and the Holy Spirit told her it's your phone. She's like, "What? It's your phone. Put the phone down. They're trying to talk to you, and you keep rejecting them by staying on social media because it's so important."
Mm-hmm.
That really affected me because I was doing the same thing. We're both doing it on our phones. So I don't think there's a lot of unintended consequences with these social media companies. So what do you do then? I mean, we could keep talking about how bad this is, and maybe we're missing something huge here, but what do you do now? If you're thinking about yourself, and, I could easily get lost in this conversation by, oh, wait a second, what's this?
So I would tell you that having a phone, having access to the world, and all of the apps that exist out there, how I treat it is much like I would a meal. There's a specific time, a set aside time, a designated time where I will look. I will use my tool. And no different than me walking through the kitchen. Just because I walk through the kitchen doesn't mean it's mealtime. I don't have to stop and look in the refrigerator. I don't have to stop and grab something to drink. It's not mealtime. So this isn't the time that I do that. And so putting in that boundary is huge. And then my wife and I both have agreed that we just don't have phones out during kid time, like when we're interacting with our kids. We have also had to curtail it back to we can't have them out when we're interacting, because now the phone gets between her and I, and the first thing I like to do is like, oh my gosh, she's got to see this thing because this is so cool. So true story. Sunday night in bed, getting ready to go to bed, and we're talking about the eclipse because we're not going to get to see it because of the cloudy weather, but my wife's sister's in Texas and they got to see the full eclipse. And I'm like, oh my gosh, did you see the Simpsons prediction on the eclipse? And she's like, yeah, everybody's been talking about the predictions of the eclipse. And I don't know if you saw it about the Hebrew signs of the...
Talking about the red heifer?
No, this is the Alpha and the Omega. The last few eclipses that have passed across North America make the Hebrew letters Alpha and Omega.
Oh.
So... story, not story, the Simpsons predict that this is the beginning of the apocalypse. In 40 days, it'll be the beginning of the apocalypse.
So March 18th or something.
Yeah, something like
17th.
that. Ironically, at the end of Lent. Or Easter, at the end of Easter. Oh, anyhow, I was going to show her this video, and then we're talking, and then she's just like, okay, whatever. And she wasn't that interested, so I didn't actually get it pulled up. And I was like, I was going to pull out my phone to create a distraction between our conversation going to bed. And it's like, you shouldn't even have your phone in bed. Like, what are you doing? You moron? So that's my own personal confession. Like, this is this thing. Like, when you hold it up here and you're my kid and I'm like this, what's the most important thing? If we're sitting here talking and I've got this in my hand, do you really feel like you're the most important thing that I'm talking to?
It's absurd when you put it that way, actually.
Yeah.
It is absurd.
And who of us doesn't carry this stupid thing everywhere you go. Everywhere. In your car. Through the house. How many times you've been running around the house and you've been like, hey guys, where'd I leave my phone?
One of the things that I noticed about myself when I gave up Telegram for Lent is I kept reaching for my phone. I found myself doing this all the time. Like, let me click. Oh, no, you can't. And it's really bizarre behavior.
Did you get my thing I sent you this morning?
What'd you send me?
Okay, so
Yeah, that's good. Say that. Tell it.
Okay, so this is really a thing. It is recently been added to the indexes that they use in healthcare for helping us diagnose patients and different conditions. Like you come to my office and you've got low back pain. Well, that's a very specific code that we use to describe low back pain. This one is relatively new. It is called phantom vibration syndrome.
Phantom vibration syndrome.
Or phantom ringing syndrome.
Yeah.
It is the perception that one's mobile phone is vibrating or ringing when it is not. Your dopamine system is so looking for a hit. It's so wanting that somebody needs me. That there's got to be an alert. There's got to be a pop-up. Guys, if you're looking for a simple thing to change your connection to these stupid things, go into your settings and take the notifications, turn them all off. Get no notifications to your home screen when your screen is off. Your screen will no longer light up. It will no longer blink. It'll no longer tell you when somebody liked or shared or anything else. Then when you go to the phone, you have to be very intentional to go to what apps it is and see if there's been an update. So like Facebook, you turn off notifications. All that shows up on the little icon is the blue and white F. Mm-hmm. If you get notifications, your blue and white F will have a little red circle in the corner of how many notifications you've missed. That gives people anxiety because they've missed something. They missed somebody else sharing and something like
to FOMO again.
FOMO. But you want to start breaking the habit. Like cut off your connections, cut off your alerts, cut off all your stuff that tells you that there's something going on, and just be present in the room you're in.
That's great stuff. Yeah, I turned all my notifications off, and that changed everything for me.
You know, we're just killing our audience because we're telling them no longer to pay attention.
Go to the YouTube channel, but plan it out.
Right.
You know, if we kill our audience because of this, praise God.
Amen.
Yeah. Again, I love doing this, you know, with you too, but I love doing this stuff and
YouTube.
With you as well. I love podcasting. YouTube. I love podcasting with you, but I love podcasting. And if that's what happens, great. I was going to say, there's one more thing I was going to say that seemed really important to this conversation. You know, we never talked about algorithms.
Oh.
And we could. We're kind of, I mean, we don't really run out of time. We go as long as we want, but we could spend a lot of time on algorithms. But do you remember when...
what is an algorithm first?
It's some sort of mathematical formula that pinpoints a particular area, I think.
An expected outcome.
Expected outcome. So do you remember we were talking about years ago how, I was just talking about buying a new refrigerator. And I opened my phone and it went into a search engine and there were new refrigerators everywhere. That's such a coincidence.
No, it's not.
No.
Use your user agreement with your apps.
That's an algorithm. And here's another one is if let's just say you are posting on Instagram. And I heard this is true. I don't know if it's true. You can tell me. What do you think? But you love the subject matter, the Boston Red Sox. Well, guess what do you think is going to keep coming up in your feed? Stuff about the Boston Red Sox. So you continue to feed your love.
You know, Facebook owns Instagram.
I did know that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're using the same search algorithms.
Yeah, I did know that. So if you're caught up in one particular subject, no matter what it is,
they're going to keep feeding you.
They're going to keep feeding you. And no. Well, listen, you're the one that's in Facebook or whatever these apps are for what? I keep saying Facebook because it's the original one.
Right.
See, I'm kind of primitive yet. I don't do Instagram.
Old.
I don't do anything. I did get on Telegram a year ago, and I'm like, wow, this is kind of cool. But anyway, my concern is that you're being killed slowly. There's that song from the 70s, "You're killing me softly with insults." Killing me softly with insults. Well, it's killing you softly with social media.
Mm-hmm.
It's a soft death, and it brings upon anxiety, depression, and maybe it's time to get the hell out.
And everybody's different. I firmly believe that YouTube is an awesome educational platform for areas that I don't know. So when I want to go learn how to change the oil in my Explorer, never done that before. But I can go to YouTube and I can get a quick tutorial on where's it at and what can I expect for challenges or difficulties. And, 8 minutes later, I'm educated like my ASC service shop guy down the road, and I'm going to change my oil for 3 cents on the dollar to what they charge at the service shop now. I think that's a great resource. It's when you become a consumer for entertainment purposes that causes you to disengage from your family, your loved ones, and the people around you, or you are using it to hurt other people, to make other people wrong for where they are at in life.
You're a chiropractor.
I am.
So do you recommend me watching YouTube videos about how to adjust a spine?
They don't have tutorials, but what they have is really entertaining renditions of like the crack addict. She's funny. No, entertainment purposes. But here's the thing: you go watch a video on doing chiropractic, and you adjust your wife, and she walks in with her head laying on her shoulders because you broke her neck. Well, you get to live with that, not me.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Some of this is silly. You're not going to watch open heart surgery and say, "Hey, I know you. I can probably do this for you." I mean, I know that sounds absurd and that's an extreme.
No, but if I tear a hole in the oil filter on my SUV trying to get it off, and I have to have my vehicle towed to the service shop to have it repaired, that's on me. That's on me for trying to be smart and trying to do something myself that I probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So you got to know your limitations, and maybe that's the takeaway today. Is it's about knowing your limitations and your why.
Yeah, it goes back to Socrates. Know thyself. Know your limitations. I've got nothing else to say here.
What about these stats? 62% of the people.
Yeah, we can go through these. Go ahead.
Okay. So one of the other things you pulled off here is 42% of young people report feeling sad or depressed after using social media for an extended period of time. Again, it goes back to that social dopamine hit that they get. Young forming minds are very dopamine sensitive. This is why kids, when they compete, they have to have winners and losers. Not everybody gets a participation trophy. No, you have to win and you have to lose, because you have to understand how to manage the loss, because we're all going to experience loss in our whole life. Loss of a job, loss of family members, loss of love. Better place to train them is on the playground. Like, here's how you win and lose well. We called it good sportsmanship back in the day. A study found that individuals who experience cyberbullying are more likely to experience symptoms of depression and anxiety. Well, yeah, you get 15 of your so-called friends suddenly turn on you on social media because you liked Miley Cyrus's hair. Oh my gosh. I mean,
she does have nice hair.
She does. What's left of it? 21% of teens report feeling worse about their own lives because of what they see on social media.
Well, this is good.
FOMO again, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they've got it better. Oh, and what people don't get, like my wife and I talk about this every time we have Christmas cards come in. Oh, don't they look nice? Oh, they're so happy. Da-da. And on the backside, we know their lives are just a train wreck, but they look good for a picture. They look good for 3 seconds of a 168-hour week, and we think they got their life together. And it is so false. So false. Social media has been used to link to increased feelings of loneliness and social isolation, which goes back to the 63% of people are feeling lonely. And then your social media usage, 62% of people who experience mental health problems have been negative impact on social media usage. This is becoming an epidemic, a pandemic of real consequence in our culture. And I guess we're here to try to kill it. Turn it off. Get away. Let your brain engage in the things that are real, with the people who love you, the people that surround you. And if you feel lonely, go do something with someone else. call up someone from the church. Go talk to your pastor. Go meet real people and do real things.
Yeah, it's called real life. We had it in the 80s and 90s.
I think since before then, I think someone else had a handle on that. I think our grandparents kind of had a handle on that.
Crazy. So a couple of things I want to say as we conclude. If you need a back adjustment, don't watch a video. Go to a chiropractor. If you need a head adjustment, a mental adjustment, don't watch videos. Go to someone. I mean, it's kind of a cowardice thing. I'm going to watch videos.
I'll fix myself.
If you need to learn how to change a faucet, okay. You might be able to do that. And I do that stuff all the time. I'm not going to pay somebody. I'm going to learn how to do it myself. But be practical. You can't get a head examination on YouTube. I mean, I'm going to fix myself, and you're going to find people that agree with what you think, you know? Here's the other thing, and here's my challenge. Get off of your phone for 3 days and only listen to the Carpenters from the 1970s. Well, if you don't like the Carpenters, listen to smooth, easy music from the 70s or Gregorian chant or something else or nothing, but just get off. And then after 3 days, ask yourself, am I more at peace? Am I more peaceful? Am I more comfortable? Has my anxiety slipped away a bit? You will be shocked by the results. I'll give you the final word.
I don't know really if there's anything else to say to that. I mean, it's put down the phone and live in the real world. Be with those around you. Be in your church. Be surrounded by people who have things in common with you today. If you have kids, you have other parents in your neighborhood that have kids the same age. Go talk to them about their challenges. Know that you're not alone, and don't reach out to your social media to think you're going to find all the solutions of how you make your kids be more respectful or more kind or better listeners. Stop giving your children phones. And when they're disobedient, when they're unkind, when they're not the children you expect them to be, take the things that you gave them away. They're yours. You bought them. You paid for them. You're paying for the internet access. You're paying for the minutes. Take away the Xbox. Take away the telephone. Yes, they will go through something hard, but you're probably going to save their mental health and their livelihood of who they will become as people. And if you have a spouse that's struggling with this, you have to be brave enough to love them enough to tell them to stop. It's no other addiction. You just have to intervene when you need to intervene. So that's it. Intervention.
You know, like my old friend from Western South Dakota did. They were watching a movie and as a family, and there's just a little bit of inappropriateness in the movie. A little bit of skin was showing. And the dad said, "That's it. Everybody get in the truck." And he grabbed the TV and his shotgun. And he went down to the garbage pile. And he put the TV on top and he blew it up with a shotgun. We're done. That's what Dennis is saying. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, you are loved. And may God strengthen
the bars
of your gates. God bless you all.
Amen.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Glen podcast, sponsored by Mission Blueprint. Mission Blueprint is a nonprofit ministry started by Glen and Jamie to sanctify the family. Our income is donation-based, and we need your help. Please support us financially by going to www.mission-blueprint.org and be a part of our financial team. Thank you, and may God strengthen the bars of your gate.